This is part 2 of the Uncharted hallway, and this is what we've got so far. And this is the reference image that I've been following. And I think I'll upload this reference image to the Zero Bio Discord and leave you a link in case you want to do something with it or use it for some reason. So yeah, this is what we've got so far. And I went ahead and I just widened these a little bit because it seemed more like the reference image. And I also put these just rectangles there here on both sides of this arch. All right, so we're going to get going on this. And this thing, when I look at it, when I zoom in, it looks pretty simple. It looks like there's just sort of like this part that sticks out and then this part that's, doesn't stick out. And so what I thought I would do is come in here and drag an edge loop down to about there. And I will turn on my screencast keys if that's helpful. And I got that. And then I thought, here, let's just slash key to focus on that. In 3 face selection, I would shift alt and click there. Because I don't have any bottoms, it doesn't select towards the back or anything. And I thought I would just extrude that out a little bit. Something like that. And then now that I've done that, I can get rid of that edge loop. We're going to bevel this in a second. And I'm going to bevel it right now. So I'm going to grab those 2 edges, shift alt and click those, and control B. And I'm going to use 3. Like that. I'm going to need to grab that inner one too. So I'll just bevel that with 3. And then I'll bevel this outer one. Like that. Let me just make sure, yeah. So I've created some extra geometry here, so I'm going to delete that face and that face. And it looks like I've got a little bit more in here to get rid of. Underneath here. That one and that one. And oh yeah, it's because I got the stuff on the back. I'm going to shift alt and click that. I'm going to get rid of those now. And shade smooth, it's going to look like that. Let me just make sure we're coming down straight. Yeah, that looks good. Double check it's not flipped or anything. Where is it? There it is. All right, so at this point, I think I can go ahead and cut this. So I'm just going to go into edit mode and drop an edge loop in and pull it until it's pretty much under there. And do another one under there. And in face selection, select those and delete. And that is fine like that. And this one, I'm going to, let's just focus on that. Let's get rid of these back faces here. Shift alt and click those. X faces. And this one's just going to be a simple bevel. But first, I think I'll bevel these corners too a little bit. Control B with 3, and then shift alt and click those. Bevel those with 3. Make it shade smooth and C. You might need to add a modifier to that. It looks okay for the time being. I think these are going to come out a little bit more. Okay, you can see them there. So let's do that. Let's just take them and pull them out further. Just make sure that we're still sort of contacting the wall. There's nothing on top and nothing on the bottom, so that's good. And hopefully that's going to be okay with that one tucked in behind. Just depending on the angle. I'm going to select this, Control L and P to break this out. And I might just rotate 90 and pull it out more like that. Let's see, I'll just do something like that. And then eventually, again, this wall will be rotated. I've said that so many times. What I want to work on next is the flower pot thing. And I think I'm going to do that in another scene. I'm just going to create a new scene, delete this stuff, and put that on. Press 1 to look from the front. And I'm going to load the reference image. All right, so there it is. I'm going to press S3 to make it a bit bigger, and G, and I'm going to move it down. I'm going to try to trace against this. It's not perfect, but I'll just do what I can. So I'm just sort of trying to get it roughly in the middle. And what we make doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to slide it back on the Y, so when I look at it, I can bring my geometry in here, and that's in the background. So I'm just going to go ahead, and I think I will use a cylinder with maybe 24 vertices, and I'll put nothing. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, and so I'm just going to roughly get it, and box select these, pull them up to there, box select these, pull them down, and maybe I'll scale the whole thing. So we're going to start with that, pull that up to there, and scale it in. And again, it's not going to be exactly perfect, but we'll just do whatever. I'm going to press E and S and come out a little bit, E and come up, E and S and come into there as best I can, and come up to here. We're going to adjust this afterwards. So I'm going to come out to there, I'm going to press E and S and come out to about there, and then up. Maybe I'll scale Shift Z. Yeah, we'll do some work on these abrupt transitions later. So just grab that. Can't really tell what it does here, but it kind of seems like it goes in a little bit, and then it starts coming up. So I'm just going to do that. And I'm going to come up to there. This one I'm not sure about. I'm going to come all the way up to that thing there. And then I think I'll press E and S, and I'll come in a little ways, and then I'll just start going again. Like I say, we'll put some other edge loops. So just come up and press S to scale. Make sure you're scaling in all directions. There, and I think I'll come straight up to here. Covered by the flower, so I'm going to press E and S and come out a bit, because it looks like it's that kind of a thing like that. E and S, I'll come in a little bit, E, and I'm just going to come up to the top. At that point, I'm going to do that. Okay, so this is what we have. So now I'm going to put a subdivision on in just a minute. I just want to come down here and select that edge and just come down straight. I want it like that more. And we're going to have some issues with some of this, so let's just do a Control 1. And I'm going to start sliding in edge loops here and there on this thing. I'm going to take this edge and I'm going to scale it in a bit. And I think I'm going to prefer that. Drop an edge loop here. You see it starts to define its shape a little bit more. And we may or may not want it exactly like that. Now, I'm going to turn off the subdivision for a second. And this edge here, I'm going to bevel. Do like that, and maybe put one in there. Do something like that. I think it'll just be a nicer transition. And you can see that this is not well defined or anything, so I'm just going to slide a couple edge loops here and there. You know, just doing that kind of a thing. And again, here it's very kind of murky. So just the odd edge loop will tighten it up, but it doesn't have to be too tight. Something like that's probably okay, but let's definitely work on this area here. Maybe a little tighter, maybe one here, and then Control B with just 2 and scale up, and not right out to the end. It gets too sharp. Something like that's probably kind of okay. Just to resemble it. I just want to think about this. Might want to scale that in, makes it a bit rounder, and take this one and scale it in. I'm just holding Shift to move a bit slower, a bit rounder. And this one is kind of okay, but kind of I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm going to scale that in. I'm going to, let's see, what do I want to do? Sometimes just one edge loop will do the trick, like that. And okay, let's do some stuff here. We're going to bring an edge loop down here, and maybe one just up there, so they have a little bit of a line there. And in terms of the top, I'm going to E and S scale it in a bit, and then E, come down, maybe scale it like that. You're never going to see into it. Drag an edge loop up there, and maybe one up here, and then just finish the top off with an edge loop close to that edge and that. I mean, it is a piece of pottery. It's not sharp, but it's not too bubbly. So I'm just not sure about these. I think I may pinch them, SZ, pinch them in, and I may even S and scale them out a little bit, get a bit more rounding on that thing. And that's basically what I need. So I'm going to take this and copy it, copy objects. I should save, but hopefully I'll be okay. I'm going to come back to, I guess this is part 1. I guess I continue working on, and Control V and paste it in. And right off the bat, I think I'm going to make that into a collection. I'm going to call this flower pot. So I've got it. I'm going to save that. So I've got flower pot, and I'll put all these other things in collections later. So let's just see how this is going to work for us. Now I could do this. I could select there, Shift S, cursor to selected, and then take this and set the origin to the 3D cursor and set the geometry to origin. We'll just get it closer, but of course it goes from the middle of that. And so the size may be not quite right. So let's just focus on those things, and we can actually even turn the mirror off and just focus on that one. So now I'll come into this and I'll just scale it down. And actually, let's try it there. And let's see, if I push it back, it goes into the back wall. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try, I might do a scale Shift Z to make it a little narrower that way, but not shorter. I just want to get it into that spot because it's pretty close to the front on these. And I can put some design stuff in Substance Painter. Now in terms of the height, actually, let's look at that for a moment. It looks as if this is maybe halfway up the whole arch, maybe even less. So let's see how we're doing there. We may be able to actually shrink this down in size, and then it'll fit even better. You know, something like that. So I'm going to turn the mirror back on this and just bring everything back, actually. And I'm going to mirror that over. So before I do, though, we'll have a quick look again in without the subdivision. I mean, you could certainly get away with that. You know, I'll leave it on, but you know, if you wanted it to be a little bit lower poly, select this piece because I can bring my 3D cursor there and use that to mirror around. So set the origin to the 3D cursor and add the mirror in the Y and not in the X, and we have those guys in there. So this is what we have so far, looking good. Let's have a look at just throwing in something for a floor. Let's just grab like an edge here and break that out. Just want to have a look, make sure it's got no other vertices anywhere. Okay, so we could take that and we could, I'm going to actually snap to the back of the door. I probably even have to go further out depending on how far you see in the door. And I'm going to take this vertex and snap to somewhere here. And I'm going to extrude it now, and I'm going to snap over to there. And in fact, let's do this now. Let's take this and this, this, and this. Let's see if I got it all. Let's make that to a... let's call this wall rotate, because I will rotate it if I haven't said that yet. And let's just do a quick test. Now, this cursor is pretty much in the middle of all of this. So let's set the origin, and let's just set that to 3D cursor. And let's rotate in the Z just a little bit to get a sense of, you know, how it would be. I'm going to Control Z in a minute. So that's the general idea, like this kind of. Okay, I'm going to undo that. Come back to median point, so we got that. And yeah, I'll see how far I have to stick the floor, or actually probably on the outside. I might put a bit of concrete and then have that black. Debating about whether or not to do the door, but what I will do for the moment is let's take this and let's actually go ahead and do that. The floor was an important thing to me, right? Because that was what inspired me, that pattern. So anyways, I'm going to pull this up as if it's a ceiling. I may do a trim, but just for now I'm going to just sort of snap it to there. And I'm going to flip that. Now, of course, in the game engines, you're going to want to have some thickness to these things so that light doesn't come through the other side. There. Yeah, well, okay, I can easily just bring that down a little bit. Here, though, I want to make sure that I'll come out to here. Okay, keep saving. Yeah, okay, I just want to double check everybody. All right, and what I think I may do for a trim, let's see, can I just make sure that if I'm coming in, am I okay? Okay, so let's do that again. Okay, and the only thing is when you do that, they tend to bend, and all I have to do is grab those vertices, pull them back, and snap to that one. All right, I'll do it on its own, because in case it's finding something else it wants to snap to. Put that on vertex, that's why. And snap to that one. And that may not be thick enough, but it might be. So I'll pull that one back there and snap to there. Not worried right now if it's flipped. Just gonna pull that in. And yeah, I'm a little off here. Okay, let's do it like this. Let's just take it and is that where I want to place it? Is that visible? I pull it down or close. Okay, it's the ceiling's bothering me. Okay, there's my trim. Okay, now the only thing is, I think it's got to be wider, because I believe these things go into that. And so let's have just a quick look at that. I'm looking at this big one here, this big white one here. I wasn't thinking about that. And so I may decide to push these back in just a little bit, and then I'll just work on this again. And the way I'll do it is I'll get rid of the ends so that they're not involved. In fact, I'll get rid of the top as well, and I can get rid of the outside as well soon, but just for now I'm just going to take those, and I'm going to Alt S, and I'm going to pull until it passes those, and then I'll just position this again the way I want to. So this is not necessarily the best way to do it, but it's pretty quick, and it can do the job. Let's just see where that is. And then all it would take is finessing to get it to where you want it. All right. So let's see what else I can get rid of on this thing. So where is it? This thing, right? Okay, so I can get rid of that back one, because that's going to actually go to the wall. And that one. And I'm going to Alt-S and push it past the wall and get rid of that. And the only real bevel I need is right there, maybe in the corner, but we'll see. Okay, so we'll go with 3 and maybe I might need a modifier on there. That's okay, that could do the job. Okay, so let's call that ceiling. And let's call that trim top. I'm going to duplicate it and pull it over here for the moment. I realize it's not in the correct orientation. And I'm going to take all of this and delete it. So that leaves that, and I'm going to rotate Z 180. And yeah, it's gone down to there. I take that here. Where's a good spot? Oh, it doesn't matter. I want to switch this back to edge, and I want to bring it past here, and I'll snap it to like there. That's okay. And I'll take this part here. Okay, here. Okay, I've got something extra in there, so... Okay, so what I'm going to do, if I get rid of that, I don't know if I lose anything critical. Okay, I got the bevel there. That's okay. Let's just try this, see if I lost some stuff. I think maybe I lost the bottom. Yeah, I got rid of the bottom, didn't I? Well, that's okay. That happens. So we're going to take this and we're going to extrude it. And then I'm just going to figure out whereabouts it's going to go. Kind of looking at this one, how far out it sticks. Something like that. Okay. Yep. Good. And then this is going to go into the rotating wall, or the wall rotate. So let's just try that one more time, and that's really it for the modeling. Now I would probably move this back as well, so I'll just do 2 moves so I can undo that, do something like that, and then rotate in the Z. And we would have this kind of thing. All right, but I'm not going to leave it like that. I want to texture it pretty straight on and straightforward. Okay, so I'm going to undo that and save, and I believe that is it for what we need. Okay, if there's anything else, I'll come back and do that, and in the next video, we'll start doing some unwrapping and some texturing. All right, thanks for watching. See you next time.